Uh, there are two kinds of recording. One is that I record using the debug, and if I upload that recording, then it's right from the point we start the actual class. Whereas if the recordings are from the upgrade site, and if I upload that recording, then you will find a lot of gap between start of the actual class and then the wait period. So you will see a blank screen, so don't worry about it, just skip through till the point where you see the class to be started, and then you can play forward. So the session management that we are talking about is very much specific to the web application, whereas the session that is being talked in general sense is about the telecommunication or a communication domain, where uh, it is defined as a series of interaction between two communication endpoints that occur during the span of a single connection. So I am going to post all these links that will help you. Uh, so, like for example, you make a phone call, and you uh, the ring goes to the other person. The other person has activity to do. He receives the phone, and then one of you start speaking. The other listens, then other speaks, and the one listens, and so on. So there could be a multi-way communication as well, or for example, if there are devices which are used for you know uh, field surveys and all those things, they have a single way communication as well. So these are from the sense of the telecommunication. And when we talk about the web application, session is something, if you see in the Wikipedia, a precise definition is given. In computer science and networking in particular, session is temporary and interactive information interchange between two or more communicating devices. So mark the word, a session is a temporary and interactive information exchange. So this temporary is important, uh, or between the computer and the user. A session is established at a certain point in time and then torn down, brought to an end at some later point. An established communication session may involve more than one message in each direction. So a session is typically stateful, meaning that at least one of the communicating parties need to hold the current state of the information, that is, whatever they are talking, whatever the information they are exchanging. So one of the party must hold that information and save information about the session history in order to be able to communicate, as opposed to stateless communication. So I keep on telling you from the day one of web application development that we work on over the HTTP protocol, right? And the HTTP protocol in itself is a stateless protocol. That means the HTTP protocol doesn't give you a guideline about how you are going to manage the session, or how the session could be taken care of. So that is what it means. So I have told you two things regarding the HTTP protocol. One is that it's a text-based protocol. That means all the communications that are happening in the form of text. When you receive at the server end, then that is converted to the Java object if the application is in the backend is the Java application, or the other technology objects if they belong to some other technology stack. But the communication between the server and the client, and from back from server to the client, is always happening in the as a text-based communication. And the other thing that I told you, that it's stateless. So as you can see from the definition, that a session is something which means that whatever the communication is happening between the client and the server. Right now I am talking in terms of a web application. So either of the parties, either the client or the server, needs to maintain that conversation, that conversational state rather, or that dialogue, I will say, the dialogue in some form and they need a mechanism to recognize each other, because we have seen that the communication cycle is just in our PPTs earlier days, if you remember, the clients make a request and the server responds, and one cycle is over, one communication cycle is over. So the server doesn't remember the client, and then one thing is required, that we need to maintain whatever has been, information has been exchanged in this one cycle, and that information has to be temporarily saved. When I say temporarily, that means in the memory, not on the hard disk. In the memory, that must be saved somewhere, either on the client side or on the server side, somewhere that has to be saved. And we also need a mechanism that the next time when the client communicate with the same server, then it must be in a position to basically identify itself with the server, that I am the same person who has just communicated, and now this is another dialogue that I am communicating with, or this is another piece of information that I am sending. Please keep track of this as well in the same sequence of information exchange. So this is another standard definition that you can see in Wikipedia. And then one good information I have seen here in Quora. Someone has asked the question and one of the developer has answered. So the definition of session: as a session can be defined as a server side storage of information. So he has taken everything on the server side. So a session can be defined as a server side storage of information that is desired to persist throughout the user's interaction with the web or website or the web application, right? So a session is a semi-permanent interactive information interchange. He says semi-permanent because it's in the memory, it's temporary, as the definition in the Wikipedia says, and of course it's interactive because multiple cycles of communication cycles are required, multiple information exchange is required, and those multiple talks that happens between server and the client is called as dialogue. So this is very much same as if you go to Amazon site, Amazon.in for example, or Snapdeal or Flipkart site, and you try to browse the item and you start keeping up the items one by one in different quantities in the cart. Then once you press the add to cart button, the request goes to the server and that information is saved somewhere temporarily, and the information and the communication is returned back with the page that update the cart number of elements that cart is holding. So if there were no elements before and you have added one element, then the cart icon will show 1, and the whole screen which was earlier there, that will come again to you to select different elements again. Then you select the second element, second item, and then you say add to cart. Then the control will go again to the server, and that information will be added somewhere temporarily, in this case of course on the server side, and then the control will come back to you with the updation of the cart information shown on the screen. So this is the information exchange that happens into a number of request and response cycles. HTTP protocol in itself is silent about it, but what we can do otherwise is provided in the technology. For example, the web application technology for Java. If we talk about the Java technology stack, then it's provided how we can manage this session. And basically the scenario that happens is something like it. You consider another example, a live example that I am giving. You consider what is happening over there, and you can just resemble the same thing as what is happening in the real web application. So for example, if you go to a big bazaar or some other shopping mall or something, so you physically you are going there, and then what happens is you have some kind of arrangement outside the entrance where you can keep your whatever bags you hold, and the guard standing over there is going to give you a token. So there are hundreds and thousands of people entering in and going out, and the guard doesn't recognize anyone. All he knows is he has given you token, and corresponding to that token in the shelf there is a box, and the box there are placeholders. So for that token number also there is a placeholder. He is going to keep your belongings in that particular box, and when you are done with your shopping and you come out, then you hand over the same token to the guard, and the guard basically matches it with the box and takes out your belongings and hand over to you. So that token is the piece of information that basically is being communicated from your side to the guard as a mechanism to recognize that you are the same person who has already given him certain piece of belongings to basically save for the safeguard purpose. So, and that piece of information is the one which helps him to take down the actual location where he has kept your items, your belongings. So exactly the same situation is replicated when we talk about the web application. I will come to it in a moment. Meanwhile, let's see what the people are saying in the chat. Session can also be client side using cookies. Yeah, I will come to it, Rajdeep. So as we have seen in the definition over here, the session is established at certain point. Okay. Here it says a session is typically stateful, meaning that at least one of the communicating parties needs to hold the current state information and save the information about the session history in order to be able to communicate. So it says one of the communicating parties. That means in context of a web application, it could be a client and it could be a server, right? So it could be both the things. So both the communication parties, either of the communication parties could take the charge of saving that information, or there could be other ways as well. So we are coming to it. As of now, we are just focusing on how this is taken care at the server side, and we will come to all the possibilities. So coming back to our discussion, in the context of web application, what happens? Let me open some paintbrush, and let's try to understand what happens over here. Okay. Let's say this is the client, and then let's say this is the server. This server has got its memory space, what you call it, a heap over here. So basically this is a client, and the specific application that is talking on behalf of client is browser, and this is your server, and the specific application which is talking on the side of the server is your, say for example, Tomcat, which is a container. Now when the client requests with the server for in a communication cycle, for example, you want to add an item to the cart, then what happens? It sends a request, HTTP request, and the information comes over here. The server gives first of all, the server takes the information, piece of information that is required, and say this is the first request that the client is making to the server. And let me say that he is asking him to add one element, say for example say cheese, to add to the cart. Now what the server will do, this is the first communication, so server will go to the memory space, which is the heap, let me say, and then it will create a small object for this particular client, and this small object could hold all the piece of information exchange from this particular client only. So if there are hundreds client, it can make different objects, just like the different boxes of a say Big Bazaar, which are lying outside the Big Bazaar shop, where the token number is written and the belongings of different people are uniquely placed. So for each and every client, a separate object in the form of a in the form of a holding box is allocated. So for this client, say he is C1, so a box is made over there, and some kind of identifier is associated with it. Say for example, for C1, a number is associated to it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and something. It could be a number, and this number is something which is being used for further communication in next request and response cycle, because every request and response cycle is unique. Once a request and response cycle is complete, the server doesn't remember the client, who the client was, because HTTP is a stateless protocol. Now he has sent cheese, so what this client is going to do, he is going to put cheese inside this box as the first element, and then what he will do is he will return back this information, the unique ID, back to the client. So this was this in this direction, and this is in this direction. Okay, so this was basically a request, and this was the response. Now what happens when the client, that is the browser, it sees that okay, his cart has been added with one item, that is cheese. His second item, say for example say milk, for example. So he sends the second request as milk. Milk, and along with this new item, the new conversation, he also decides to send back the information about the ID which has been communicated earlier. So now this ID is also being sent as the part of communication along with the information. Now when the server receives this information, he will see that okay, he will look for this particular ID inside the heap and see that there is a box with this ID. So that means this is not the first time client who is returning back to me. This is someone who has already visited, and his conversation state has got some information is already over there, like for example cheese. So he will recognize his box, his piece of information, his particular location where his piece of information is saved, and what he will do is he will just select the second conversational state, which is a milk, and then he will add milk. Just let me hold on. I'm having some difficulty with my mouse. So simply I will rather write it over here. So he will just add milk over here as a second piece of information in the same box. And again, when the server returns the same page where items are being displayed along with the updated card information, that particular page, this ID will again be returned, and this exchange of ID keeps on happening until the whole of the this communication breaks up. So basically this is how the session is managed, and this ID that I am talking about is typically called a session ID. We call it as session ID. So let me write it down. This is basically the session ID, and this session ID is unique for every client, because the box that we need to store the information for communication for each and every client, that also needs to be unique. So this is what we call it session ID. And the box that you see here, basically we have got a Java application, so the heap will contain the Java objects. So the box is nothing but a Java object, and this Java object is of the type of the class that is HTTP session. So this box is an object of the type of HTTP session that can have in its state, in its variables, different elements like cheese, milk, or whatever we choose. The same thing happens when you try to log into application. For example, in a banking application, if you want to log in, so once you are logged in, then you can keep on doing whatever transaction you require, and not necessarily that you would be asked about your login information again, because your login information is saved in the session, just like these elements, the conversational state of a shopping cart is being saved. So this is how the session management happens at the very basic level. So as you can see, this whatever session I am talking about, this is being maintained in the heap, in the memory, and that is temporary, in the sense that once the communication is over, the browser window is closed, and this object is no more referred from the server side. This will be garbage collected, or you can allocate a particular time. If there is no access to made from the server to this particular object, that will expire the time, and you say that session is timed out. So you can see that in a banking application, the session is for a very small period of time for the security reasons. Why? Because if you left your computer open, logged in, so anyone who has access to your computer, say you are sitting in the office, and the next desk person can basically access your system, and he can possibly do something which is not intended. So that is the purpose why, if your system is idle, that is from your client, if nothing communication no communication is done for a very small time, say for a 2 minutes period or 3 minutes period, your session times out, and when you try to do something, it says please log in again, your session is timed out. So you can fix a time for the life of this particular object that has been allocated to you, which is of the HTTP session, and it gets time out after the time expire. Let me see if anyone has to ask any question. Any questions, guys? Doubts? Okay, I can see in the doubt section. Sir, please repeat the diagram. Okay, I am going. Okay, other question is, can we set session time to infinity until log out explicitly? Okay, so these are the two questions. One is Anuj says that I need to explain the diagram again. So Anuj, for Anuj, first I will take the question of Anuj and then the second question. So Anuj, see, there is a client and there is a server, and we have seen that HTTP in itself is a stateless protocol, right? That means there is no provision in the HTTP protocol or no instructions in the HTTP protocol, nothing kind of rule which specifies that how you are going to manage your sessions or the communication states or the conversation state. So what happens is you have to do something extra, and that extra is that resembles very much to the technique when you go to a shopping big bazaar site places, their big malls. What happens when you try to enter the mall? You have a security guard and there are separate boxes. So security guard is going to hand over to you a box and hand over to you a token, and then your belongings will be kept to the box that belongs to the token. That means the box is also numbered with the same number that you hold in the form of a token. You go inside, you do your purchase, and you come back and you return the token back to the guard, and the guard doesn't remember you by face. He is in the form state rest. So one request and response, one cycle is communicated. He doesn't remember you. So he just sees that okay, you have given a token. He go out for that particular box, pick your belongings, hand over to you, keep the token with him. In the case of a communication with the client and the server, this token is the same mechanism of the token exchange is applied, and when the client talks to the server for the first time, so for example, it's a shopping portal, e-commerce site, where the client has opened the page and he has asked you to add cheese in his cart. Okay, so it will come to the server, and the server will pick up server will take, which is the Tomcat container I am talking about. Tomcat will take control, and it is going to translate the text based information cheese, and it will pass to your servlet, which is basically a Java class. Then this servlet is going to create a box, a Unix box for you, and that box is nothing but an object of HTTP session class inside the heap. And when this HTTP session class is created, an ID is generated along with it. So the information, that is the cheese which has been passed from the client, that is stored in this object of the HTTP session class, and this information ID is sent back to the client, that is to be used the next time the client tries to talk with the server, so that with this ID the server is in a position to recognize that okay, this person has just not talked to me and he is not a new person, and some information about him is already saved in the memory. So when next time the client interacts with the server, he passes, that means the browser basically keeps track of the session ID. He passes that session ID to the server, the Tomcat again sends the control to your servlet, and your servlet tries to get back the session. Now in this case, because the client has sent the ID, so the session object that is being returned to this your servlet will be with the same session ID that has been communicated by the client to the Tomcat container, and which already has the element cheese. Now this time milk has been passed as another item in the cart, and that element will be also added to the same object that belongs to this particular client. Let me name this client as client C1. So and when this is over, the placing of this information in the object is over, then the server is going to return back the response with the shopping page along with the updated information of the cart, that two elements are added, and this time also the session ID is passed back. So every time the server will keep on passing this token to the client, and the next time when the client communicates, in the same sequence of operation, it is basically going to give it back to the server, so that server could recognize his box, that is his object of the HTTP session class, where his conversation state is stored. So that means we have got one class, HTTP session class, which is of the importance to us, because we are going to create the session objects, the separate boxes for each and every client of the type of this class HTTP session. Okay, so if there are 100 clients, for example, so we will at a time they are interacting with the server, so we will have 100 such boxes, that means 100 such objects of HTTP session class in the heap, and they all will have different information, of course. So I hope this is going to answer your question, Anuj. And then the next question was, I just forgot what was the next question. What was the next question that was asked? I just forgot. Okay, let me see all doubts. Okay, here we have this information. Can we set session time to infinitely until logout explicitly? See, Rajdeep, session time has, even if you do not provide a session time, basically session is something which is being managed in the memory, and so anything which is lying in the memory will of course die out when any reference to it is no more existing. That means if the this particular object, say for example, let's say it S1, this object name is S1, it is stored in the reference variable S1. If this object is referred by reference variable S1, it's okay, it's there in the memory, you have not provided session timeout. But once your servlet is done executing it with it, its reference for S1 is almost, that is no reference variable is basically referring this particular object. Now the information about the session timeout is basically described for overall application. Yes, it is possible to define a session timeout for a specific component as well, like a session that is created for a specific client. That is possible that you can specify a different session timeout for that particular session object. But generally what happens, the session timeout is managed declaratively. That means in the web.xml you have got a tag about the session information, and for the whole application you basically specify the timeout period, so 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. So even if you do not provide time, it has to basically die out when the memory is full, or basically when it is overutilized, or when the server is down. So there could be different scenarios, but ideally the rule is, if you have closed the browser, if you have closed the client browser, the client browser basically forgets the session ID, because the session ID is the information which is temporarily being stored by the client in the memory, right? You have one communication cycle, and before you do the next communication cycle, the client is holding this session ID, but when he attempts for next element to be added in the card, he is also sending the session ID back to the server. So once you close the window of the browser itself, this session ID is lost, and once the session ID is lost, there is no way that a client could remember a particular conversation from the server. That means server will also not be able to remember the client back. So this is what actually happens. So this was one scenario where the information is being stored on the server side temporarily, right? Similarly, the information could also be, and this happens through HTTP session. This type of session management happens through HTTP session. That means the HTTP session class. So this is one technique. The other scenario could be, this particular information could be, instead of storing on the server side and we just share the session ID to the client, we can share this whole information to the client, that is this cheese and milk. this whole information could be shared to the client. Say for example, this information is passed to the client, and the client means your browser, and the browser may write this information in a small file, in some encrypted form, in a text file somewhere in your in a designated folder that is meant for the client in your machine, in the client machine, and this information is then called as cookies. But then the owner of this machine, that is the administrator or the person who is communicating with the browser, he should acknowledge that I am ready to give the permission for this particular information to be saved on my machine. You must have seen not many times that you visit a site and the site says this, almost every site today's time says that this particular application use cookies, and you have to accept the cookie agreement, and we will save some information on your machine that we will use for such and such purpose, right? So if you agree, that's okay. If you disagree, that means you can disable the cookies by going into the setting of your browser, of your specific browser, and once you disable it, the cookies could not be used to basically save information in your client. Then two things could happen. One is that if the cookies are disabled, the server has got another mechanism to basically keep track of the session management. He should have provide another provision, so that will take into picture, that will take the control. Otherwise the application will give you a message that this application, this site mandatorily requires your cookies to be enabled. Go to your settings and enable your cookies, then only we can communicate further. You must have seen all these things happening in your while browsing the internet. Now, so there are two things. One is, we have discussed that the information, the conversational state, is saved on the server side temporarily in the memory, and that is done by using the HTTP session class. The object of the HTTP session class are created in the memory, and the conversational state are put inside it, and the session ID is sent back to the client to be communicated again and again in every conversation to be recognized. And the other information could be, rather sending this session ID, just one ID, let me send the whole of the information, the conversation state. It could be a very big state as well, and that state could be saved by the client on the browser itself, and the browser could basically use this whole information to send back to the server every time it tries to communicate with the server. Now this situation where the client stores this information in the form of cookies on the client, this type of session management, you must have seen that if you logged into the Gmail, for example, you close the browser, but that login information, your username and your password, is kept in some folder which is managed by your Chrome or your Edge, whatever, on behalf of gmail.com or google.com, and in that folder this information is kept in a text file in encrypted form. So you can go to your system setting, and you can also see what are the clients which are available for different websites, and you can see the information, but they will be in encrypted form most of the time. So now this information is persisted. This information which is on the client side in the form of cookies is persisted. That means once the browser is closed and then it is opened back again, the browser can go back and look into that particular folder to see about this information, and this information could be read again from that persisted state, and it could be sent back to the server, where the server gets the whole of the conversation state. Server doesn't need to maintain a record, temporary record over here, which is needs to be fetched out again and again. Okay, so this is another scenario. Now two scenarios are over. The third scenario could be, even though if your information is not persisted, temporarily persisted the form session, or could be persisted in the session, or either in the cookies, the server may at some point choose to save this information in the database on the server side itself. So the other situation could be the conversational state is basically being saved to the database. So when it is saved in the database, then in that case what happens, even if you change your browser, but you have a way to log in, then the server can use your login information, your username, to come to the database to identify and figure out the conversational state that you have already saved over here, that is cheese and milk. So this happens typically nowadays. If I go to Amazon.in, I see some changes over there. But earlier, what I have observed is that, say in Amazon.in, if you go and you have not logged in, you just go to a browser, you have not logged in. What will happen? You still have the page with where you can search the items and you can keep on adding it to the cart, right? And those information are kept into the cart. If you close the browser and open the same browser, that means the earlier browser was Chrome, if you open the same browser, that information is still shown in the cart, because that particular information is saved in the form of cookies by the Chrome in some folder of the Chrome itself, right? So that is not lost. Okay, and then once but in the case if you turn to the Edge, the other browser, and if you open the page without login, you will not see any element added to the cart. The cart is empty. It will show a 0 element, because that program, the Edge, is a different browser. It's a different program. It have its different place to save its state in the form of cookies. So it will not be able to fetch out the information saved by the Chrome, right? So that is very much specific to the Chrome. But what happens in the Chrome, if when you try to place the order, and in that case you have to of course log in, because then a lot of other information is required, like your communication address, your payment details, and all those things. You logged in, and suppose you have not made the payment, or the payment fails, or whatever happens, and you close the browser. Now this time if you open another browser, say Edge, still everything will be empty. But if you log in to Amazon.in using Edge, you will be able to find all those orders which you have tried to purchase or try to place in your cart. Why? Because once you have logged in, this conversational state has been saved to the database. So, and that is being done that in case anything fails and you try to log in from any of the browsers, your login information could be helpful to fetch all those information back and to show you your original cart. So now there are three situations. One situation is that the information, your session information, your conversational state, what I am talking about, it's saved in a temporary memory in the form of an object of HTTP session with a session ID as an identifier, and that is lost once your browser is closed, and this is not accessible across different browsers. Then comes the cookies, where this informational conversational state is being stored in the file system as a piece of some encrypted information on the browser machine, and that is specific to a specific browser. And when the client communicates, it communicates with all these sets of information back to the server. So the server doesn't need to maintain its own temporary storage. However, it can choose to replicate that too for a very quick response. And the third thing is that the information is saved to the database. So this is how you manage your conversational state. Is it clear up to this point, guys? which one has to be submitted till 14th, the assignment question and the other questions possible, or the whole lab file. See, I told you that I don't know if you have joined late, but try to submit the whole of the lab file by 16th, not by 14th. I told you by 16th, that is Saturday, by 16th. Okay, and even if you miss anything, then by 16th, whatever you have done, you submit this your submission, whatever you have done, by say mail ID number, and whatever you submit, you have to submit your code, your screenshots, and the screenshot must clearly indicate that it's your computer. That means the database name must be displaying as your name, that I have described in the assignment video how you have to do it, so that I should be in a position to uniquely identify that it's you only who have run the application in your machine. I will also compare the code. If the code matches, then also you exactly matches, then also you are in problem. So in that case, I can log into your computer and discuss further. So see, you have the time till 16th, and if something is left out after 16th, then what you can do is, at the last, everyone has to send a mail which contains the complete set of information which he thinks is final, with the subject title ending with not the number of the mail, but as a text which says it's final. So you should write their final over there. Okay, so like GH _ Shah Imran Alam, my name _ enrollment number, then _ then I said you the mail ID, the mail number, that is 1, 2 or 3, whatever mail you have sent. So instead of that, you write final. So that would mean that this is the final submission, and you are done with your work. Okay, so the lab assignment, whatever I have given you in that particular file, all those has to be done. The assignment separately that I have mentioned, that has to be done. All the assignment that whether I give you the code or whether the codes are being described in the session, any of the session, they also need to be done. So it's all in one lab file. So your lab file itself is a assignment containing all the questions that I have given. Okay. The question about the class is, does the session time counter run on a separate thread or put load on the server? See, your servlet itself is running on a separate thread, right? Every servlet that is dealing with a client is running on the separate thread, and that servlet is basically creating the instance or getting hold of the instance of the session object. So that means session object is nothing but a placeholder in the heap. So the time counter which is being managed, as I told you, that's for the application itself. So that information could be saved in the object itself, that what is the start time or what is the time of the creation of the session, right? And then you will see there is something what is called as the last access time. So I will show you in the example, in the code example as well, the last access time that you have accessed your session. So that last access time could always be used by the container for each and every object to figure out whether the time has been expired or not. Okay guys, clear till now? Any doubts? Any doubts so forth? Okay. So this is too much of the theory for today. I am sending you the links first, whatever we have discussed so forth. So this is one of the good definitions that I found in Quora. So this is regarding the session. If someone asks what is a session, you can describe it. Then this is in the Wikipedia. This is more standard definition, of course. This is also you can take. And the third definition, which is in general sense, which can define session in both in the communication Word as well as the web application. This is here, so you can get hold of all these, just to go through this all these pages, and take down the notes for the definition of the session. Let me close them, and then what I'm going to do is, it has taken quite a lot of time today and lot of discussion. I will upload this lecture today itself, so that you can go through the lecture. Just now, in fact, I will do this. You can go through the lecture and repeat yourself with the lecture. And then what I am doing is, right now I am going to give you the code. Just hold on. So from log of text.html. Okay. I'm going to give you in the WhatsApp group. So this particular code, there are three files. One is this index.html file. Let me just run this application and show you the behavior. So this piece of code basically explains the situation where we have talked about the session management using HTTP session object. So just for this particular piece of information, not about cookies, not about database. We are not talking about cookies or databases. We are only talking about HTTP session objects and how the session is managed using HTTP session object. So let me run this application and show you how it behaves, and then you can read the code and try to figure out how this is working. And tomorrow when you come to the class, you have already revised the code, and then we will just go through the code and try to explain, and I will try to explain you what's happening in the code, anything that you are not able to understand. In fact, I will explain the whole of the code, but you have got initial understanding if you read the code on your own, once you see the behavior of this application. So let me run this application. I'm going for run on server. So when you see this code working, this application working, remember everything that we have discussed in context of HTTP session, that the client is going to send an information to the server, and that server is going to hand it over to the servlet. The servlet is going to create a session object when the request is coming for the first time, and then it is going to place that information like cheese in that particular object which belongs to the HTTP session class, and then a session ID is generated, which session ID is passed automatically by the server to the client. Then the next time when the client communicate, it communicates with the client ID, and the server hands over to the servlet, and the server Tomcat knows which is the object. So if the servlet asks for the session object, the Tomcat hands over the session object which has got the same ID which has been passed by the client now. So the next element is also added to the to this object by the servlet itself. So this is what keeps on happening. So just remember this situation, and then try to observe what is happening in the code. See, I have run this application, and you can see the URL is HTTP localhost 8080, session and cookies is the context root of the application, and then the resource name is not mentioned over here. So that means the file which is running is index.html. That is the one which has got the default name usually in the web.xml file of the welcome file list, unless and until I mention any other file explicitly. So this is the file index.html is running actually. So you can open the code and then you will see this HTML file contains two fields, the first name and the last name. And if you go to the source, view source, you can see the first name has been mentioned by the name first underscore name, and the last name is mentioned by the name last underscore name, and there is a submit button inside the form. That's it. So once I enter the information, say Shah tab Alam, and I press the submit button, see what is happening over there. Let me enlarge it. It says welcome to my website Shah Alam. That is the first response that I am getting. That means one requested response cycle is over. This is the form has been submitted, and once the form has been submitted, the response for that form has come in the form of this table. This is another web page, an HTML response. So it says welcome to my website Shah Alam, and the session information. That means a session has been created, and I am sending back that session information back to the client. Okay, and it says the session ID is this. So normally what will happen, the server will send the session ID and you do not need to print it on the screen. It will be internally managed by the browser, that is the client, and it will be sent again by the browser. So this is something which I am explicitly printing in the form of table, so that you can see the information, try to understand what is happening on the server side. So there is a session ID. This is long piece of information. This is a unique session ID for each and every client. No session ID no two clients could have the same session ID. Okay, so that means there is a HTTP session class object has been generated on the server, and the ID for that has been placed just like a token with this number, which is the ID field as shown in the table here. And then it says the creation time. You can see the creation time, and then it says the time of the last access. This time of the last access is basically used to keep track of the session expiry, and you see that both the times are same, because okay, the creation time is just now the session has been created, and there is no time of last access. This is the first time it has been created, and it has not been accessed just yet. So the creation time is again being displayed as the last access time. But if the second communication happens, then in that case what happens, the creation time remains same, and the time of last access is actually going to be the time of the creation time. Okay, so for two cycles this information is going to remain same, and for the third communication you will see that the creation time is not going to change anyway, but the session the time of last access is basically going to change with the third communication, and then first name and the last name, they will remain same. So let me say review session data and information. In this case another request and response cycle is going back to the server, where this session ID is being communicated from the client to the server. If I say review, then you see the session ID remains same, the number of visits changes. Up till now the time of last access and the creation time has not changed. When I say review session and data information, you see the ID still remains the same, and it will remain the same for the entire conversation. The creation time is going to remain same for the entire conversation, but now you can see the last access time has changed now. From 37 it has changed to 40, and the number of visits is also changed. First name and the last name, of course, they were submitted by the form, so they are now the part of the session object and they remain the same. So all this information is stored in the session object, either explicitly by me or by the container, like the creation time and the last access time and the session ID. This is something which is done by the container, but number of visit, the first name and the last name, this information is saved by me in the session object, and the number of visit is being updated by me at every time the control comes to the server. Let me say review, again the number of visits change, the time of last access change, the session ID doesn't change, the first creation time doesn't change. This information which is saved from the form, that is doesn't require to change, so I am not changing it. in my servlet, and so it will keep on moving like this. And then there is a link log off. Once I say log off, you see it says thank you for visiting, you are logged off Shah Alam. And in this case, if I want to go back to this hello form and press review session and data information, you see the session ID has changed, right? Your number of visit has changed, your first name and last name has showing null because I am not communicating from the form where I have filled the first name and the last name. Directly I am hitting the servlet which is managing the session object. So in this case you can see that all this session information has been lost because you have said log off. So I have done something in the log off, that is log off servlet, which is basically going to end up the session information explicitly. So Rajdeep, the question that you have asked, I think this also is linked to that question, that whatever the information which is available in the heap in the form of session for a particular client, that could be explicitly be killed as well by the server. This is what happens when you do a log off in your basically any other applications. Okay, so from the memory it has been removed. Okay guys, so I think you have seen the behavior, and I request you to see the code and try to understand how the code is working. Try to run on your machine. Let me do one thing more. Let me give you do one thing. To run this application, first place index.html in your web content folder, and then the two servlets that I have given you, that is hello form.java and logout.java. You create a package in src folder com.gh.servlets, and within that package you right click and go for the new servlet option. Okay, and give the name as hello form.java and copy the paste from hello form.java, the file that I have communicated to you in the WhatsApp. You copy the paste over there and save it. If you do it by new servlet, then the web.xml file will already have its either URL pattern, everything generated over there, or if you are using 3.2 or another version of web application, then that will be generated in your servlet. So that you have to keep track of, and then you can do the same thing with logout.java, and then try to run this application. So try to get familiar with the behavior again while we join for the class tomorrow, and have a look at the code in a microscopic way. Try to understand the code whatever you can. I am not expecting you to understand everything from everyone to understand the code, but try to understand it so that when we join for the class tomorrow, it's going to be a little complex code, and it will be easier for me to explain you if you have already gone through it, and then you will also have more questions to ask, more doubts to ask basically. So is that okay? Okay, so the CRs of both the groups, please if someone is finding difficulty in accessing the files, please pass them to the mail as well, to the group, your respective groups. Like for us, you can download the code and pass it to the your group mail ID as well. So we will meet tomorrow. So can we have 2 classes tomorrow? From 2:30. Okay for both the batches? From section B, I am not getting the answer. I don't know. Anuj Radhan is always ready to have class. He is very sincere guy. What about others? Are you okay with 2 classes? in one go. Someone has just joined. I don't know who, but section B. Is it okay, or any concerns are there? At what time we have the class? 3 to 4. Okay guys, can we have a class from 2 to 3 and then from 4 to 5? Will that work? 2 to 3 first class and then 4 to 5 another class. Will that work? Anuj, but Faraz says that he has a class from 3 to 4. So 3:30 will not be, okay. Kamran Hassan, what do you suggest? Let's have one class in the afternoon and one in the evening after iftar. Yes, this is also we can do. Tell me the timings. What are the best time that you propose? Ahraz Ahmed, and let's see if others are agree to it. Ten PM. Ahmed Faraz, take care of other guys also. Others? 8:30. So see what I suggest is, how about 8 o'clock? Because we wind up by iftar by around 7:30, and then we have the maghrib prayer, and then we are free by 8 o'clock, and then we just go for 8 to 9 and then leave the people, because people are need to go for the Tarawih prayers, and they need to study at their home for the Tarawih prayers, and individually of course because of the lockdown, but they will be doing it, right? So how about 8 to 9? I think that will be more suitable. Is that okay? Modi ji will take class at 8 p.m. uh, so don't worry, there are other family members of your in your family, so they will be update you with Modi ji class, or you can just after the class you can view it offline as well. So okay, at 8:30 to 9:30 in the evening, 8:30 to 9:30. Someone is saying okay, someone had said no. See, there will be multiple people with multiple opinions, and we will not be able to settle on something. Okay, first tell me the afternoon class. Can we go for 4 to 5 for the afternoon class? Ali Mehdi sir will end up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then we can go for 4 to 5 for our class. Is that okay? Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's have one class at 4 to 5, and then if required, we can either have the class in the evening if you agree. Otherwise, we can have the class on the next day. Okay. ठीक है. So tomorrow we will have the class by 4 to 5. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. You can just log off.